Okay, oh look at that, it's starting to snow just as soon as I get in the car. Well, we had get the old snowblower out yesterday, clean off the front step and around the front here, and to get back to the generator. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with the seat now. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. So, the sun is working really hard. This was just like a bottle. The whole thing was just right messed up. And here's this, right where I am now here. That's where the Amazon truck went off the ruts and into my lawn, and we had to get the guy's 4x4 over here, and we had to jerk him out the back to get him onto the road. New Canadian he was. Oh, what was that noise? Well, let's turn on a bit of heat. Okay, we gotta watch out for the wee. There we go. Watch out for the whoopee. Oh yeah, I gotta fix something before going further. Don't want to lose anything while I'm at it either. Oh yeah, we got a pop, a cranberry, and water. And the water can go just like that. Put it on this side. Okay, we're good again. So, oh, it says it's 0 up, but I know better than that. The woodshed's -7. The temperature they say on the internet is -4, and the Jeep says it's now -1. Well. I think tomorrow it's going to get up to 6. That'll be nice. So I've been doing my best not to keep onto the drama that's on the internet anymore. Just to keep away from it. It's freaking depressing. The lies that are coming out from all these different countries all at the same time. This guy's no good. That guy's no good. He's a liar. He's a dictator. All of this stuff. It's just freaking drive you nuts. It's just like it when COVID hit and all the anti-vaxxers getting their panties knotted up. Well, anyway, we're going in. We got a list. No dog today because the little girl, she is sick. Her daughter's sick, the little one. So she could come to work, so there's no point dragging Storm in. So that's that. Now yesterday, I was reading that the farmer on the left, this has 5 calves. And they sure are cute when they're a day or so old. Just lickety cute. They're beautiful little guys. I suppose they're staying in the barn for now. And my other farmer friend, he is just down here, and he's got his first one. And I would imagine the deer's starting to drop too. Everything's starting to come alive. The maple syrup season started, so the sap is running up the trees. They're all tapped, so there will be well, there's a few places already having, I can't remember what they called it, but they opened up the maple sugar camps, so you can go and get the maple sugar that's on the poured onto the snow, and some of them have a cooling tray that they put it on there. But when I was a kid, they just poured it hot into the snow, and then it got cold, then you picked it up. Parents didn't really like that much because as you're holding it, it's starting to warm up, and it's getting your hands all sticky. And you got, depends upon how many kids you got, they're all in the car going home with stinky fingers getting everything all stuck up. Oh well, just a memory. Like going to my Uncle Hintz's place in a place called Salisbury, New Brunswick. He'd raised cattle. He was older than me. Working hard every day. What I remember, though, of his place is he only had single pane windows. And he had plastic around the outside, or the inside of them, to help get that little barrier to try to keep some heat in the house. And the amount of flies that were in between the two, unbelievable. I mean, they're like 4, 5, 6 inches deep from all over the years. And then, but I remember we'd go down there for a weekend, and my dad would always have something going on. See that little bugger there at all? Always have something going on. One time we went down there and they butchered a beef. Got her cut up and got her lugged home. And then I remember, I wasn't very old. That's all. My great aunt, she would get up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and by the time breakfast was ready at 6, you wouldn't believe how much food she cooked. She baked bread, or buns, or both, pancakes, at least 2 big platefuls about 8 inches high or more, scrambled eggs, fill a popcorn bowl, like a big pile of scrambled eggs. There would be a big bowl with bacon in it. Lots of food on the table. But as you were eating, and I wasn't a big eater in the morning, but as you were eating, she was starting to take things off the table. So you had to eat quick, and you had to get your hand out there and start grabbing stuff. Because if you didn't, she'd have it all taken off the table before I was finished. Because I was kind of like a slow eater. Anyway, and she'd have it all packed up for lunches for everybody that was going to go out and work. At the time, there would be Aunt Georgie, Uncle Fred. They were so old that, man, they must have been well in their 80s. Then my Uncle Wallace, he was a a sheriff, and his job was to take criminals back and forth between courts, between St. John and Moncton. And he had his big dog named Sheriff, which was kind of cool. He was a friendly bugger, but I don't think you'd want to mess with him. And when they put these guys in the back car, he says, yeah, we handcuff them right to the floor. And then sometimes, if they don't settle down, I'll put the dog back with them. Then it's nice and peaceful, he says. I got a kick out of that. But after he put the dog in there, most of the guys said, okay, I'll settle down, and then he put him in the front, and that'd be the last of them. He was a no-fuss guy. And it'd be my mom and dad, and me and my brother, and maybe somebody else, one or two people, whatever. I don't know, but they all got fed. So we didn't get home till we were finished doing what we were doing, and I was with my two uncles, and in this time of year they would go out into the woods and they'd be hauling logs out so that they could get it with a tractor later. So this horse that they had was a big draft horse, kind of white-gray, spotty kind of a thing, as I recall. No saddle. When you sat on it, man, I'm telling you, it's just almost like sitting flat on the floor. His back was so wide. And he had the commands of, okay, giddy up. Whoa. Left, right, back up. And that's pretty well it. Then they would hook the chain onto his harness. There's like a thing in the back there, drawbar maybe you call it, I don't know. And he'd start pulling 2, 3, 4 logs out. And these are no little logs. These are 20, 30 footers, maybe about a foot diameter. That freaking thing could pull. Anyway, at the end of the day, they said, Bob, go take them home. So I get on the back of the horse. They have to push me up there, get on. And I say, okay, Pete, no reins, nothing, let's go home. And off he goes. When he came out of the woods, he turned to the right, got down to the road, turned to the right, walked down the road on the side, and then walked into the yard. I'd slide off. It was really perilous too, I might add, because I was about 10, and there must have been a good 6 or 8 feet. His back was up there pretty good, and I would land on the ground with a thud. Open up the door, and he would walk in, and my job was to get some hay down into where he could eat it. My uncle would come and he'd give him oats or something like that, or whatever they give horses. I don't really know. And then we'd go and play in the barn, which was above where the cattle and the horses were. Oh yeah, his cows, he must have had 30 or 50 of them. They're smart buggers too. He'd stand out by the, wow, gotta watch that one. You know, yapping away, not paying attention here. Just about had a heart attack there. Anyway, he'd go, here, bossy, and these freaking cows, no matter where they were, all of a sudden you would see these things like, I don't know, it's like a swarm of birds that seen a roadkill, you know, like, they just started coming towards them. And they'd all come up, peaceful as hell, chewing their cud, and put them in the barn, and they all go to their individual stalls where they knew where they had to go. I thought that was so cool. Now, what you got on here? I don't want that. It's too freaking hot. There. And my cousins would come up. We would go in the barn and we'd had a lot of fun. Of course, you know, Mom wouldn't like that. And she'd come out and catch us, and then we'd all be sitting on the bench till we could peel off somewhere. And there's a couple of older boys across the street. Well, it's not a street, across the road, because there wasn't many houses out there. It was this farm country, right? And in the woods, they had dammed up this creek and made a swimming hole out of it. I thought that was the coolest place ever. And they worked pretty hard on it, and then one day we had a super big rain, and that was all gone. Just tore it right out. And then they said, we're not going to do it again, because apparently it was like their third or fourth dam, and they had had enough. And another one I can remember being out there on the farm was this, coming in from the barn, I seen this little kitten. Like, their house was a 2 or 3 story house. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Anyway. And attached to the side of the house was what they called the washroom. That's where Granny would go out, or my aunt, great aunt, would go out, and she would prepare some of the vegetables and, you know, clean the dirt off, and there was always potatoes ready to go into the house, and, you know, carrots and all that kind of stuff. One time she left out a chicken out there. Well, wouldn't you know it, this little freaking kitten got up there and started eating. And he couldn't stop eating. By the time I walked in there and I seen this kitten, I swear to God, he was as round as a ball. And I told my great aunt this, and I said, hey, there's a kitten out there. He's like, he don't look good. I says, he's about as round as a ball. And she went out there and shooed the cat away. He could hardly move. And she says, oh my God, the cat's gonna die. Well, in a day or so, he did. And that's the end of that story. But that's down there, why we're getting to the point here, was they had the Colpitts was their last name. They used to have a sugar bush farm where all the locals would go out and get into this maple syrup. It was delicious. So that's the end of that story. When I was a kid, we moved here when I was 10. And that's when I first started to feel like a maritimer. Like when you lived in Germany, you had no idea what a place was. And you knew that when you left Germany, you'd never go back there again. That was it. You're never going to walk the streets. You're never going to go back to find your old house, all that kind of stuff. Well, I ended up going to New Brunswick, and we ended up having to stay with my grandfather for a couple of months. And that was in Fredericton, right where we were going. And I pointed out in other videos, I went to, I don't know, I think it was in grade 5. And I wasn't doing very good at all. Apparently the D&D, Department of National Defense schools, weren't all that good compared to just the general public schools everywhere else. So I was really far behind. And they said, look, Bob, you're not going to make it. So we're going to pass you anyway, because you're going to go back into another school like D&D. Well, there I was, back in the same thing when my dad finally got a house in Chatham. And that was okay. I was back to normal. We used to get to the school, like the gate would be open, and we would walk through the gate by the church, and the school is just a little ways from there. And I think it was grade 6s and 7s, and that's maybe 8s. Well, when I got out of there, I ended up going to school called St. Thomas. It's a university, but now it's something else. And it wasn't a university for us. It was just a school, a high school. And I suffered a little bit from ADHD, probably a lot. And I had a hard time keeping my mouth shut and couldn't stop cracking jokes. And one day, the French teacher came in, and he had this great big freaking ring on his finger that had like a nugget on the end of it. He hit me in the top of the head with that, and my eyes instantly started to water. It hurt so bad. And then he walked by me and he said, I guess you'd be better off listening instead of talking. And I says, that's what the priest said. He says, what? And I showed him my arm, and it was in a cast, because I was over at my friend's place. I'd be about 14 by then. And I was lifting weights in his basement, and I passed out when I was standing up with the weights in my hand on my chest. Well, the weight come crashing down onto my head, knocked me cold. I was already passed out. When I come to, all I seen was red. Blood was just pouring out of my eye, all across my face. I got up and I went over to where they had a sink in their basement and a mirror, and I was horrified with what I saw. So anyway, I snuck out the basement window instead of getting him in all that trouble for not being there watching what was going on. It was my first and last attempt at being I think his name was Weeder. He was back in the time, one of these strong guys, and you'd see his advertisement in the back of all the comic books. Charles, maybe his first name is. I don't know. So anyway, and it cracked my arm, my wrist, when the weight came crashing down. So anyway, my heart started huffing her home, and trying to avoid looking at anybody and everybody. And I walk into my door in the house, and my dad goes, "What the hell happened to you?" And he said, "I guess you should have been listening instead of talking." So that's the second time it was said. Well, it was said. He was the first guy to say it. Takes me down to the hospital. They stitched me up. They leave me in the hospital for the night. They put this bag around my wrist just in case it's broke, because nobody was there for x-rays at that time at night, like 9 o'clock or whatever. And you get x-ray tomorrow. So, yeah, okay. And we'll fix your arm tomorrow, too. So we'll just put this plastic bag thing around and zip it up on your wrist. So they blew it up. I put it down by my side. They put me in a wheelchair, and they threw a blanket over top of my arm that was underneath. And I was holding on to the hand rail on the other side with my left hand. This priest is walking down the aisle with the doctor or the nurse. I can't remember who was with me. And he says, he looks at me, he says, "Looks like you should have been listening instead of talking." I said, I looked up square in the eye with one eye, because the other one's swollen shut, and I said, I got hit by a train. And he started, I mean, if he could have swallowed his tongue, he would have. And I never let on and just went to the room. When I get in there, the room, there was two other guys. I think I might have mentioned this before. One guy was a young guy from up in the Miramichi. He had hiccups. He couldn't stop hiccuping for the couple of days that I was in there. And the other bed, up in the Miramichi they call it, which is up north, it's called Miramichi City now, but in the general area, a lot of kids were born with this old man disease. By the time they were 7, 8 years old, they looked like that movie that Brad Pitt was in. It's something like Buttons or something like that. Really, really old. And well, after I left, I heard that both of them had died. One from hiccuping and the other one because he got so old. But it made me remember, what I had seen, and then I kind of like, how can I explain this to anybody? Nobody's going to believe me. So anyway, after I get out of there, I come home. Next day, I'm on the bus at school, yapping off. And they're all thinking my eye looks real cool and the cast on my arm. And that's when, I'll never forget his name, Keel. He was teaching us French. And I don't know what, sounds like it's Irish or something. But anyway, he drilled me with that big frickin' ring. Man, I'm telling you, that hurt. And I was so glad that my dad retired and we moved to St. John, and then that's a whole nother story for another time. I had to go to one of the wealthiest areas in Canada where, well, maybe I'll just say it until the battery runs out. Rossay, New Brunswick is where all the rich people would come to summer when they did that kind of thing. There was these beautiful mansions down there. I mean, I was working for a guy named Plissy, and he was fixing chimneys down there. And I was the guy that carried the bricks. You could pick 7 up at a time, and after a time, it was pretty freaking heavy after a long day. Or I'd have to mix up the cement and pull it up with a rope to where he was, and he could have been, 4 or 5 scaffolds up. Plus, I had to help him put the scaffolding together. It was a hard work. That actually made me go back to school. But before I quit school, my first year there, they put all the junior grades, I think this was grade 9, because they didn't have room in the school. They put us in these little trailers out in the back. So we were down there, and I was in the room with a pair of twins and their brother. He was kind of like a simpleton kind of a guy, and he was about 24. He was about 6'4" and about 250 pounds. He was just a big guy, and his name was Melvin. I'll never forget that. But him and his 2 brothers, they were the toughs. I can't remember where they lived, but they didn't live in the rich part, right? They lived out in the country somewhere. And nobody would mess with these 2 guys. Well, I gotta take a look at my list here before it's too late. Somebody came into the class and said, I got some plastic puke. And I thought, hey, let's put it on the French teacher's chair. You had to learn French my whole time in school. I managed to get out of a lot of it, but I still had to go. So anyway, I put that on there and I went outside because this was in about April and there was still snow. And I sprinkled snow around it. And this guy, I think his name was Kilpatrick, he pulled out his chair and he would always put his foot on top of it and start giving us a hard time. Well, when he seen that puke down there, everybody started to giggle, and he looked directly at me and come running towards me. Melvin stuck out his foot. He tripped over it, and I ran out the door. I quit that day in high school. I mean, there was no way I was going to go back. The following September, they put me in another school where I had to take a bus all the way into the city. It was horrible. I mean, it was like an hour to get in there and an hour to get back home. And I would miss the bus. And I would have to hitchhike. It was hell at times. So, I forgot to go to mail the mail here. Frig. Oh yeah, we can do that when we get in the city. Let's just drop this crap off for Nick first. And the battery will be dead before he can get to his place. I did bring a spare battery for on the way home. And this time, I brought an extra memory card. So what I'll do is I'll put this memory card that you're on. I can copy that into a folder, and it's a lot easier to arrange them if I can sort them out that way first before I put it into this video editing software. Clipchamp or some damn thing it's called. It's free, but they won't let me do anything better than 100 or 1K or whatever it is. Not the 4K. Which doesn't really matter because it's just YouTube and the camera's old and yada yada yada. So I gotta start paying attention here too. I'm just kind of motoring along here. But I gotta figure out which is the best way to do all these things. And it's gotta be noon. I forgot the clock in the car. I'll have to change that. Yeah, we had an extra hour of light last night. Why don't they just freaking leave it? A lot of people say, just leave it the way it is, like the way it is now, and don't bother changing it. Apparently it causes all kinds of accidents, and people are late for a while, and, you know, that kind of stuff. And then you got to run around the house and try to figure out how each clock you set. And the one we got in the bedroom is the worst one of them all. And the only way I could change the clock, I got lucky, was I pulled the power out because I couldn't get it to reset with the clock button or the time button, whatever it was. When I unplugged it and plugged it back in, well, wouldn't you know it, it worked. I could reset the time. Okay, where's all these goofballs going here? They're all coming my way. One more. We're good, and we're gone. Get out of that guy's way. We're on our way up. And before I get carried away, I gotta figure out which is the best way to get over to next. And it's noon, and it's the worst traffic there could be. So no matter where I go, it's not going to be very good. And I got to buy some stamps. And what else do I got to do? I got a list. Anyway, I got to go grocery shopping as well. So, instead of going that way, I'm just going to go straight down over the bridge, straight up to Brunswick Street, hang a left, and then straight down and see if we can figure out with my memory where the hell he lives. I've only been there a couple of times, so it's an adventure again today. You know, and it doesn't help getting any older either, because you get so much on your mind that you just start forgetting stuff. It doesn't take much to distract you, and you're standing there at your desk, and you're thinking, I come in here for something. Why am I standing here? And you got to stand there until you figure it out, or at least I do. And I got to be careful around my son's place. They've all got influenza. And they're not feeling good. The only one that doesn't have it is my son. But he's bound to get it. And he should be going back to work pretty soon. He works for the federal government, lighting fires at the military base, so that their tanks and stuff like that don't start grass fires. I suppose it's a good job, but he likes to be outdoors, so that's good. Okay, here we go. Geez, don't look too bad right now. Okay, bud. Bang. I don't know why they don't put a wider piece of metal in there. Make one slide up over top of the other. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Well, that one's got teeth meshed together. For the expansion and contraction, actually. Oh, we got somebody coming here. What do we got? Where is it? I hear the alarm. And they'll be going off to the right, I think. Got to pay attention, because you got to get off the road and stop your vehicle till they go by. And I'm not sure if that applies to tow trucks or not, but any emergency, like the fire, the ambulances, police, those guys for sure. Okay, we are on Westmoreland Street, and that's the name of the bridge. And we're going on to Brunswick Street. Oh, look at that green light. Please stay blinky. Blinky, blinky for me. And I gotta get over here, and I think I gotta be in the right lane for this. And we gotta go through. There's a nice big old church right there, made out of blocks. Oh, gotta get going here. Yellow light. Of course I gotta... What are you waving your hand for? Is that big? Was that fish she caught? Well, we're good. And this is Regent Street we're crossing. That goes up to the hospital. Huh. Oh, good time to look at the list here. Post office. Oh, forgot that too. Drugstore. Groceries. I guess we're going from the bottom of the list. There's a place up top of the hill I can go to the post office for. Get rid of that stuff. And get the stamps. You know, my wife said she went to the post office and there was like a 10-cent stamp that she had to add extra so she could mail this letter because it was just that 10 cents overweight. The postmistress started getting out a $1 stamp to add to it. My wife says, whoa, what are you doing? It's only 10 cents extra. Oh, most people do that, she said. Yeah, well, most people don't. Okay, how are we going here? Okay, this is a new one. There's always trucks getting stuck underneath this thing. Oh, bang, bang. Okay, here we go. This is Waterloo Row. This is where, at one point in time, all the most affluent people in the city of Fredericton lived. Even the Premier's mansion is up here, just to the right. Which one is it? It's offset from the road a bit. And it's a good looking building. Where is it? It's just up here. And the river comes up here. That soccer field over there is just buried. We just went by the Premier's house. Okay. And I don't know how much money they sunk into that old place. But they're always sinking money into these old houses. And, well, if it's their money, it's okay. But if it's government money, that's not so okay. They should throw the Premier into an apartment building. A cheap one at that. It doesn't even have to have stairs. Put them on the top floor. Just to keep them fit. And to give them an idea what everybody else is living through. Oh, you gotta watch out for speed traps along this little chunk of road here. Which is very common. Well, here we go. We're ready to go home. And we're outside the giant house. It's one of the cheapest places to get groceries in the city. It's like a no-frills place. Okay, let's go get a coffee here. And a donut. What the hell, eh? Hey, Alan, get the donut. Now, okay. Well, missed getting a good thing on the camera just a little while ago. Oh, good one here. Rod there, get her in there. Okay, up at the gas station, right there. The other one, yeah, so. Anyway, I gotta watch out what I'm doing here. all the time in the last 10 years, since 2013 or whatever, before that even, that I moved out here. Well, we got to get a drugstore too. When you go in and get your code and pay for your car wash, you go on out and you drive around the back side on the right, and you're away from the street, so you don't really see too much, and you're kind of in the shade. So I come around the corner, and geez, I thought, geez, nobody's here. Here's two cars. Oh, for freak's sake. Here's two cars coming in from the other direction. I thought, that's odd. So I pulled up right in front of the gate, or right close enough anyway. This guy comes out yelling at me in this car that's going to go next. And I thought, what's he all friggin' all excited over? Well, apparently, he decided that he had to come in the other way from the main road. And I says, well, we don't come in that way. I says, we come in the other way. There's arrows on that tells you where to go. And I says, I'm not moving. I didn't, actually. But anyway, he cut real hard in front of me, and then I went over to the car that was second, and I said, hey, this guy's in the wrong. He's rude. Oh, he was cursing me and fingering me and the whole ball of wax. I thought we were going to have a dust-up, but then I kind of restrained myself because I'm not the chip off the old block anymore, you know. So anyway, what happened was that he got in a rage and he ripped right in front of me, and I said, okay. And I went over, talked to the other fellow, and I said, hey, look, you know, this is the way it is. You're supposed to go around that way. And I said, you go ahead next, but the next guy comes, he's going to have to go around. So the guy that was in the car, he was like my age, you know, he was retired or whatever, from somewhere, doing what. He gets out of his car and he comes over to me and he says, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that that's the way it's got to be. You know, you got to go around the back way. I says, yeah, it's just for keeping people from going out onto the main road and blocking the pumps, you know, all that kind of stuff. Coffee. I guess we're going to have to go way over there now. And I need a drugstore. I don't know where one is. And we'll figure it out. My wife needs these things for her wart on her toe. This thing and only this, and that's it. So we'll go over here and we'll see what we can find, and then we'll go back home for the coffee once we get over there. And there's a pharmacy right there. But I don't want to get in there. It's freaking friggy to get back out. And we'll go this way. I know a couple of pharmacies on the way. I'll just run in and out. And I dropped the stuff off. The camera died before I got to my son's place. Anyway, I dropped all that off. And there they are. 3 kids, girlfriend, all sick but Nick. I said, Nick, you just stay right where you are. I put all the stuff on the stairs, stepped off, and said, go for it. You know, just some extra kids' clothes. I don't know where Giselle got this stuff, but we had it. So instead of it staying at our place and no one's using it, you might as well let them go through it. Hopefully you'll save them a few dollars, and then they can donate it for the next kid. That's the way it should be. Whoa, watch out for the big truck. Here he comes. You gotta watch out for tent people along here. They're walking all over the place here. I don't know where they got them now, but off to the left there used to be a village of them. A few tents burnt down, and then they put the run to them, and they put them way up by the Walmart, way up the end of Regent Street. And you knew they were there because they were panhandling at all those crosswalks, stop signs. Okay, where the hell is this bomb? Oh, right there. Okay, car's nice and washed. They didn't rip the frickin' mirror off this time. Man, I was real frickin' leery about going in there last time. I had my wife with me, and she just freaking distracted me enough that I got too far over to the left, and when this wiggly thing comes around with the spray and the various juices that it puts on, well, wouldn't you know it? They freaking just about freaking tore the mirror right off the side of the Jeep. But they did tear it off enough that I had to go get a new one. For frick's sakes, that was $550 later. I think that's what it came to. So it was kind of like, oh wow, that's quite a bit for the old Buffalo here. Okay, now we're going to go different. We're going to go over to Maine. And then I can get up to, where am I going? Tim's. Let that old girl go. Thank you. She had the right of way. That's okay. I did have the right of way, actually. But, oh, look at that. Get Christmas balls laying out in the lawn there. Spheres. I wonder what they cost. That cost them. And I gotta be careful here, because I almost freaking smoked a guy here one day. Okay, self-serve 153. Why is diesel so much? Oh, 158. Drugstore, yeah. Focus on the drugstore. Oh, I'm ready to go home. Well, I got enough liquids here to freaking float a boat. There. See where that big truck come up? Well, the other guy was going straight, and I didn't realize that at the time. And when I whipped to go left, there he was, coming right at me. You feel bad when that happens, you know? Really, really bad. Okay, we can go up here and we can go into a drugstore here. Then we'll go out and go to Tim's. We're out of here. There it is, great big finger. Okay, let's go in. I'll leave the camera on so I don't have to frig with it and get all mixed up with the videos. Oh, we can park right out front. How about that? We could. We still can, I think. Yeah, we do. We are gonna. Watch out for this big Lincoln here. It's a nice car. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay. Now. Mask. All right. loose shakes of a wet dog's tail, and I shall return. March. Hit of the month. Oh, Orioles, I killed that bag last night. Oh. There. We're back. We got the one-step corn remover. Okay. Mask off. Mask on.
We're just standing there in shock.
Radio off. Okay. It's time for a coffee. Oh, okay. Let's get out of here now. Oh, let's go for this broad. Boy, this is pretty tight in here. Miss that guy. Oh, there's an A&W. That sounds good. But, to be honest with you, I think I just want to go home. Instead of wrestling around with a freaking piece of meat and a salad in a bun. There we go. Well, that worked out good. $13 frickin' dollars. I see the Premier of Ontario has put a 25% levy, or tariff, I guess is a common word, on electricity leaving the province. Say it makes about $300,000 extra a day, which he's going to be putting towards the people that are hard hit by the other tariffs. And China's hit Canada with tariffs. What the hell here? Things were going along good before. Well, till somebody gave that idiot a pen. There's a happy baker. Okay, where am I? Oh yeah, I know where I am. Turn right. Oh, must be 2:30 now. If I eat here, then I won't have to have leftovers when I get home, which is chili. I'm not a big fan of my wife's chili. Well, maybe if I put enough milk into me, we can, yeah, we'll do that, I guess. Okay. Little one, can you move up? Oh, you wanna move up there, you dizzy rod with the smashed in back end. Okay, we're good. Next stop, Tim's. I always liked this house on the right. Yeah. Unique location. Alright. Well now. What are we gonna have besides that? Well, I don't want an ice cap. They're too much and they go too fast. But I could though. With the paper straw. And the last time, that lasted me till I got home. Maybe I will. My daughter turned me on to these things. Pretty good. Oh, somebody's getting buried in there today. Yeah, we all got a turn. There's the old folks' home right there on the right. They don't have to wheel you too far, that's for sure. Look at this, no cars around the corner. Here comes Mrs. Brown, or Mr. Brown. Chicken man. Oh, look at this. What luck. Oh, and we're going ahead already. Oh. There. I don't really need a heated seat today here. Let's see. No, I turned that off. Oh. That's good. There we are. We're all fixed up. Oh, I could do the clock. Apps manager, maybe. All apps. Settings. Holy freak. There we go. Clock. Add an hour. 2:25. 225. We're good. Yep. Hey, that's Joe. You don't know Joe from Canada? There he is, right in front of us. Oh, yeah. Check my cards here. What do we got up here? Oh, Subway. Subway. A Tim's and a Tim's. The Swiss Chalet and a couple of marks. I'm going to have to get rid of some of these. Alright. Well, let's hope this person can understand English.
Have a order?
Yeah, large ice cap, and it would like a Boston cream, please.
Sure, and that's everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Drive on up, please.
Okay. $6 and something. So we'll gobble the donut down right away. There you go. Anything that goes in my freaking pockets. And this jacket, there's no zippers. It falls out and ends up down between the seats. Oh, whatever. Mary Brown's chicken. Subway, you have to get out of your car and go in. I don't do too many place Tim's that you have to get out of your car. Just passed influenza onto that phone. And COVID and the flu are all zooming today. Okay, let's go. Let's go hit the post today. Okay. Sell that.
Boston cream.
Eat that right now. See you, man. Have a good day. Okay, let's do this first. Get the wrapper off the straw. Oh, that guy's already coming by me. Oh. Okay, get that in the container. Get my mitts. Oh, here we are. Gotta get out here now. Get my mitts on the donut. Okay. And we're off to the races. And when I get my hand free, I'll have to get the placard off the wall. Okay. Here we go. This time, I'm going to play this one smart. I'm going to eat where the hole is, where they squirt the cream in. Usually I don't forget to do that, and I ended up or a lot of times it come out the other end into my beard, and then it's like, oh no. Yummy. When I went into my son's place, because I'm not familiar how to get in and out of there, I know they stick to the right, and when I